Hey, what's up? This is Steve's Machine, and today I have an exciting episode because I'm unboxing a Nintendo Switch 2, which has been out of stock in my area forever. The Nintendo Switch 2 starts at $499, but it has a ton of updates. I actually have the original Nintendo Switch 1, and so I'm going to compare that side by side as we unbox it and show you the size difference and the screen difference and all that, because basically in every way, the Nintendo Switch 2 is a huge upgrade. The screen in the new model is brighter, it does 120 hertz, it can output to 4K, it's got a 1080p built-in display, everything is bigger and better. It has features like upgraded audio, it has mic support, the Joy-Cons can even act as mice, so if you want to do things like play Fortnite, well, you can do that on the Switch 2. It's also exciting because it's compatible with the Switch 1 games, so you can just transfer everything over pretty seamlessly, and I'll show you that whole process side by side so you can check it out. And the one downside I'm reading online, I haven't got a chance to fully work this out, but the battery life is less. Because it has more powerful hardware and a bigger screen and all that, it looks like you're going to get around 2.5 hours of game time instead of the original 6 hours of the Switch, but that might be a good trade-off because we normally use it docked, and then if we want to use it on the go, it's not forever. And I also use this awesome Anker power brick, so I can just plug my USB-C devices in there and they run forever, whether it's like a MacBook or the controllers or the Switch. All of that is not a problem because I just plug them in and I keep that in my backpack. I'll put the link down below if you're interested. And also, if you like the channel, please go ahead and hit the like and subscribe button. It really helps out. Let's go ahead and get started. So I was shopping at Best Buy for a camera lens, and I saw behind the counter they also had a bunch of Nintendo Switch 2 stuff. This was exciting because mostly around here they've been sold out for quite a while, and I couldn't even order this online, but they just had a bunch there, and so I was like, I better pick it up. We have the Nintendo Switch 1 and we used it for years and years and years, so it's exciting to get this upgrade and check it out. So in the box we have the console, the left Joy-Con 2, the right Joy-Con 2, an AC adapter, a USB charging cable, a dock, a grip, 2 straps, and an HDMI cable. I also went ahead and picked up the Pro Controller 2 and an extra set of Joy-Cons so that way we can all play Mario Kart World. So let's go ahead and open this up. There's a little thing here, no tape or anything. And there we go. So we have the console, the Joy-Cons, and we have all the setup instructions here. And so it's really easy to do. It's just USB-C, so if you have an adapter for this, it might work with existing adapters, so you can charge it and stuff just using any old battery or things like that. And it tells you how to plug it in and do that. You can see here the Switch 2 is a big upgrade in terms of screen. So this is a 7.9-inch screen, which is a lot bigger than my old Switch. And it's now 1080p, so full HD. On the bottom here, we have the USB-C port and also the stand so that you can dock it. And you can see it goes at variable amount. It doesn't just click in. And so lots of different angles along with the cooling fans. On the top, we have the power button, the volume buttons, a heatsink, USB-C port, headphone port, and game cartridge port. And then the sides, you can see this is where the Joy-Cons actually plug in. This is awesome. So it has magnetic attachment, and I want to show them the video as much as I can. So I'm going to put it close to here. And as I do that, it just clicks right in, boom. And it's very firm. The magnets are strong, and that's just a really slick way to attach the Joy-Cons. Let's go ahead and attach the other side. There we go. And so now we have the Switch 2. In terms of weight and form factor, this feels great. So I am a full-grown adult, and maybe if you have toddlers or stuff, it wouldn't work as well, but I can reach everything well. It's very well balanced. And also, I can just take these off and I can set that stand up so that I can play without those attached. This is really nice, and it just looks like a huge upgrade compared to the old Switch 1. And while we're talking about the Switch 1, I still have ours, and it's a little bit beat up. It's been through a lot of different parties and games and all sorts of things. And this is about like the 6th pair of the Joy-Cons I've replaced on this one. But I've had it forever. It works really well. It still works well. But you can see here, this screen is much smaller. And you can see, I'm not sure if it's coming through in the video, but the bezels are a little bigger and the screen is a lot smaller than this one. In terms of the weight, they both actually feel kind of similar. So this is light in the hands, and obviously it's a little smaller, but it's not that much smaller. And certainly the screen is a lot smaller. Whereas if I compare this one, it still fits really well, and it's nice and balanced, and the buttons feel a little more premium on this model too. And so I'm excited to use this over time and see how well it holds up. But it certainly seems like an awesome device. Let's go ahead and set out the kickstand here. As you can see, there's that. And then we'll do the kickstand on this one. And the kickstand on the Switch 1 was right here. and I don't think we've really ever used it, probably for good reason. So you can see here to compare the size, it is definitely taller and wider than the old one. If I pop the controllers off magnetically too, then I can just play these, or I can use my Pro controller, no problem, and then have this standing up and even watch media or things like that. Really nice setup. So let's finish unpacking the box. We have a Nintendo branded HDMI cable here, and that's HDMI certified. And we have our Joy-Con holsters here, so this way if you're playing, they won't fly off your hands. So you can see here, that looks pretty good also. And it's got this little cinch strap at the bottom, so if you hit the button, it will cinch and you can adjust that down if you need to. We also have a pretty large charging brick included, and that goes up to 60 watts. We also have the Switch 2 Joy-Con dock, so you can put your Joy-Cons in here and use it just like a controller instead of having to use them attached to it. And then last but not least, we have the Switch 2 dock. The docking station also looks like a big upgrade from the first one. So you can see we got all these vent holes down here, and if we flip it over, you can take off this cover. For power, it's just the USB-C cable will go in there, and then this will go to your TV, and that will just go to the internet. To power this up for the first time, I'm going to go ahead and use this Anker charging brick. I put a link below in the comments if you want to check it out. I like it because it has this display on here when I turn it on, and it will tell us how much power it's drawing, and also it can power things basically forever. So I'm going to go ahead and put that over here, and then we can plug this into the switch. There we go. And so now we're plugged in, and we can see here that we're drawing 18 watts charging, so that's looking good. And now the Nintendo Switch is on. And like usual, the Nintendo software experience is exceptional. So that booted up in like a second, just while I was talking about plugging it in. And so we can pick that, and it's got the normal like Nintendo sounds and everything. And so we'll just say we're in the Americas, and we'll accept the agreement here. That looks good. And now it wants to connect to the internet, so let me go ahead and connect to Wi-Fi. Everything so far is very fast and responsive. We're connected to the network. We have some updates, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that. A nice little introduction screen here, so it's just telling you can play with it using the kickstand, or you can play with it attached, or you can use it on the big screen. And it shows you how to use the stand and how to plug it in, so we've already done that. And so we'll say using stand, and then it's gonna say to attach these, you're gonna pull the side. So, and there's a release button back here. There we go. So you can see when you hit the release button, it actually just pushes out this thing, and that's how it detaches. There we go. And I'm gonna go ahead and set this up, and we're not gonna connect it to a TV right now. And it also tells you how to do this with the actual strap. You can see here we have the safety harness, and you can just put these on also and put them on like that, and then they are attached. And so I can put this around my wrist like this, and then tighten it up. And that way, if I'm doing something like pretending to swing a tennis racket or something, it's not gonna fly off my hand and into the TV. So Nintendo's really thought of everything here. While it's downloading the updates, we can also snap these in here. And so all we do is put the controller in, boom. I think these are all magnetic, because if I put them near there, it just snaps right in. And so now I have like a game controller. It's not gonna be as good as the Pro controller, but still pretty cool. When I grabbed this for my kids to show you the video, they actually had it hooked up to the Switch 1 just like this, and so it is pretty popular. To detach, whether it's on the Switch or here or anything else, all you do is hit these two buttons right here. And so if I go like that, boom, they just pop right out. Very easy to use, very well designed. While this is updating, it's also good to call out, this now comes with 256 gigabytes of storage, so huge storage upgrade in this unit. I'm not sure if it's picking up in the camera or not, but the audio has been upgraded too, and so these speakers sound really good, definitely better than the original version. And that background music, that subtle background music while you're doing all this, really fun. The system update's already complete, so this isn't one of those things where you have to update for an hour apparently. At least the first update went super fast. So now it's giving us an option to transfer, and so we can just move everything over. So I'm gonna say, go ahead and let's do that. It's also asking me for a micro SD card, and just like the original Switch, you can expand it just using the micro SD, and that's really nice because it's super affordable to get even a terabyte one. I put a link below to Amazon referral, and that has an SD card there you can pick up. I like to get the Nintendo branded ones just because it looks cool, but you can really get any one you want. If we take a look at the old Switch, it had this kind of like flimsy cover that popped off, not really a kickstand. And then under here was where the SD card was. If we take this out, you can actually see I have a 1 terabyte SanDisk card that's branded with Zelda. Really love that detail, pretty cool. And now it's gonna ask us to sign in with our Nintendo account, and there's a QR code there. So you can just take your smartphone, scan the QR code, and then you can log in from there. So to start the transfer, we're gonna log into our original Switch, and then we're gonna hit the home button here, and we're gonna go to the system settings, and go down to the bottom where it says system, and then they actually have a dedicated menu option here that says system transfer to Nintendo Switch 2. So go ahead and click that, click next, and there we go. So we'll say, make sure you have a Nintendo Switch 2 nearby. It's there, and we will set that right there. And so now they're both looking for each other so they can connect. And we'll say, that's fine. And do that. And we'll transfer our games over. And it does want us to connect to an AC adapter, so let me plug that in real quick. This Anchor power brick actually has 2 USB-Cs out, so we can just take this one, do that, and then we'll plug this into the original Switch down here. There we go. So both of these can be powered by one Anchor brick. And then we'll start our transfer. So this is basically AirDrop for Nintendo. So we put them next to each other, they connect to each other, and this whole process takes about 7 minutes, and that's for a lot of data. And so it's sending all of our save files over and all of our game files over and everything. So everything's gonna be good to go on the new one in just a few minutes. While these are transferring, let's go ahead and look at the Nintendo Switch 2 Pro Controller. So I like the Pro Controller. It's a little more easy for me in my bigger hands. So let's pop that open like that. And then in here, we have a USB Type A to USB-C cable. And that's what we use to charge it. But when we use it, at least when I use it, I usually connect it wirelessly. And then I only use that cable as last resort, although it's quite common for people to forget to plug it in. And so it's nice to have the ability to plug in if we need to. So you can see here, these are very nice big buttons. I'm an adult and that fits great in my hand. It feels very similar to like an Xbox controller or a PlayStation controller. Very durable feeling, very solid feeling. It does have a headphone port on here, so I can plug into there. It has the back buttons and triggers, these triggers up here, these ones up here. So lots of options, and I can see myself using this one. This controller is likely how I'm going to achieve Mario Kart dominance. I'm also going to open up another set of the Joy-Con 2s. And if you have kids, you really need to get these, or even adults, because you can play Mario Kart with more than 2 players. And so everybody takes one of these. And so if you have a party or something or a lot of people over, you're definitely going to pick up an extra pair. Let's go ahead and open this up. These look just like the other ones. I probably should have bought another color so I don't get them mixed up. Oh well. And I can use these in the same holder here. So we'll just magnetically put these into here. That way I don't mix them up. And they also come with their own sets of the fling protectors, as I call them. And here's our right side of it. And so we'll just put that to here so I don't mix them up. Like that. There we go. And the game transfer actually finished right when I was done with that. So you can barely open the controllers by the time that finishes. Very fast. There we go. And now it says setup complete. So let's go ahead and hit the home button. As this is loaded up from the transfer, you can see that I can play my old games on here too. So I didn't like lose my games. I still have Animal Crossing and Smash Brothers and Pokemon and everything here, which is really nice. With the version of the Switch 2 I bought, it comes with Mario Kart World. So we can just go to continue to download and say confirm. On this one, I chose to go all digital. On the other one, I did get some physical ones, but you know, ultimately they need a bunch of downloads and patches over time. And so there's really not a point other than nostalgia to have the physical ones. And so I'm going all digital on this one. You can see here, there's an indicator, it's downloading, looking good. So we're gonna give that a minute. So I've got Mario Kart World installed and I've got this docked in. I've got this plugged into a 4K monitor. So this is going at 4K upscaled resolution and it's loading there and we can check this one out, see how big of an improvement it is. Support.
Mario Kart World!
These graphics are definitely a huge improvement. This is awesome. I'm gonna go ahead and start this up and single player, there we go. Grand Prix, we'll pick Mario. Going old school traditional style and we'll do the easiest one since I haven't played this in forever. Yeah, this is typical Nintendo where the graphics just look amazing. They have that surreal sort of cartoonish but polished feel and really makes a game feel like a game. This is awesome. For some reason, these guys are all faster than me. That's okay. There we go, get some boosts in there. And we're to number 1. I should probably just end the video right here. And so let there be no doubts, I am the racing champion. That was awesome. I also wanted to show off some of the settings here. So you can connect Bluetooth audio. So if you got a pair of headphones or something, you can just connect straight to it. I noticed under the display, there's also the screen burn-in reduction. So that way you don't have to worry about this being left on and then there's an image burned in or anything, and it will turn off with your TV. So that's really nice. It also can do 120 hertz output, which is great. That means that you won't have all that tearing and you'll see a ton of frames per second if it's possible to output it that way. And we'll have to see how that works. And there's also a low latency mode, which is really nice. We can set this to dark mode. There we go. There's also battery management here. And I love this option because lithium ion batteries do good when they're charged somewhere near the middle. They don't do good when they're charged to 100% or when they're depleted to 0%. And so I'm going to say go ahead and do this to 90%. And it says here a little explanation that even if turned on, the system may charge to 100% to ensure accurate battery level display. However, this is going to make sure that it lasts as long as possible. Overall, I think the Switch 2 is a massive upgrade in almost every way. I love the big screen on it. The magnetic controllers are really fun and it's really well done. It feels very premium. They just click in, everything works. And the kickstand, I can see using that in so many situations. So if I'm on an airplane and I have a tray table, just sitting that down and then letting it sit there and watching media or playing games there, that's really convenient. And I can also do that in like a coffee house or wherever, just wherever I have 10 minutes and a flat surface. And so I really like that. And this design is really easy. And then when you're not using it, it just goes right in, no problem. The speakers sound like a big upgrade. They sound great. And if I'm playing it like this, they're plenty loud enough. And then I can also plug in my headphones or a microphone. Really like those features. It manages to still be thin, light, and portable, at least by my standards. This is very similar to the Steam Deck or things like that. And I can fit this in any of my backpacks or anything and put it in a little case and everything's gonna be fine. I'm used to carrying around like a 13-inch laptop, and so this is much smaller than those. For the graphics, it's a huge update. That 4K upscaling looks great on my monitor here, and I had that on a PC monitor instead of a TV. And so if you have a PC monitor, you can actually take your Switch, plug it in there like I did, and you can use it and get the highest quality possible graphics. And that 120 hertz looks super smooth. I really like that. And the original Switch was really good to us. This has taken a beating. It's been dropped a lot. Again, we've had problems with the Joy-Cons before, so these have been swapped out a couple times, but it's really done a good job and we like the games and they stand the test of time. So the way Nintendo designs stuff, the games just don't age out instantly, right? They're still fun even years later, and the whole family enjoys doing this, especially with like parties and stuff. When we have people over, the Nintendo Switch is one of the favorite things. So I'm looking forward to reporting back and telling you how this works out in terms of battery life and durability and the game availability as we go forward. But as of now, I'm really excited about it. Let me know what you think in the comments below and I'll catch you in the next one.